Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for visiting once again. And back we are to the Canberra, the next part. So I'll just do a quick recap for you as to where we've come from the last little visit that you came along. Thanks, by the way, for all the subscribers coming along. There's been a little bit of an uptick in the number of subscribers that are coming in. So if you've subbed as a result of the last couple of visits you've made to shall we say Shay Zinzan, then thanks very much. Anyway, let's have a look at what we were doing. As you may recall from the last time we spoke, I've embellished the back of the instrument panel here. So the instrument panel is not very detailed, and it won't be, so I'm just going to have to detail it as much as I'm able to do. But what I've done is I've tried to ensure that these little nodules that stick out here are as much as possible in the right place. I've also embellished the back of this, because when this is actually in the in its position, let's just zero out a minute. Oh yes, there was it was the gas man, I think, that left a message the last time. He says he doesn't like me using the phrase zeroing in and zeroing out, which, fair enough. No, I do understand. I've been saying that for so long now that it may be difficult for me to stop, so I'm going to have to apologise in advance to the poor fellow whose ire may be raised by this. But there we are, look. So what we'll do is we'll just insert this in so that you can see it in here. And the reason for adding this detail in is that when this is sighted correctly, there's a chance you'll see some of this detail coming through here. If you look up inside, just in there, so we'll get the old poker out, shall we? You can see all this stuff in here, and you can see up into the pilot's area here, which means that we can then, discern all this. I may put some extra detail in here because that did look a bit bare, and there'll be more details going in on the top of around here as well, and covering this over here. And various other bits and pieces will happen as well. But as you can see, what we've done here is there's a little box I've put in there with some additional detail. This is the bomb aimer's cushion that he fetches himself through this little hole here, look, and he lies down on this. So I shall probably paint the inside of this NATO black, and then this will be probably a semi-gloss black, and then these cables here are running up, as I said before, across here. So there'll be things to strike the eye, as it were, when this is completed. What we're going to do today is to have a look at these things and just put a little a loop in of lead wire, and we're going to create that ejection pull handle, and also probably some in the seat as well. So as you can see, I've done a little experiment here, and I've put an ejection pull handle in there where it can be seen. I don't know if you can see that properly. There we go. We're going to have to put some a little bit of plastic card there, or either that or dig that out somehow and then cover it with some plastic card, so it will be seen under here if you're sharp-eyed, and possibly under the bomb aimer's ejection seat as well. So we'll look at that anyway. But what we're going to use for this is just standard old. Let's see if we can get this standard old lead wire. It's, I think, 0.3mm, and that should be about right. It needs to be reasonably substantial in terms of the scale, but not excessively so. And what we're going to do here is to start at the front side here and super glue that in, and then run it round, and then run a piece of masking tape over the top of it, so that you then achieve some loop. So actually what happened was these pull handles here were actually one loop, which was covered by a piece of canvas or something like that, such that when you pulled the handles down, the canvas I think extended over the face of the individual, and I think affected, gave some additional protection. So didn't matter if it goes over your face. If you're leaving the aeroplane, it doesn't matter whether you see anything or not, I suspect. So there we are. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do a little bit of gluage to begin with, and we'll then get right to it and do some metal bending. I'm going to do it underneath this as well. I think is probably the thing to do. Isn't really in quite the right place, is it? Let's see if we can sight things a little more centrally here. How about that? That seems a little better, doesn't it? Yes, we can see things very easily then, can't we? So here we go. As we crack along here, I'm going to use this seat as my starter for 10, as it were, and just apply a tiny bit of super glue there, and then just apply the lead wire to the top of that. Hopefully we can get it to stick on in fairly short order. It will be annoying if it doesn't, mind you, because of course you can't place any real pressure on this stuff because it bends very easily. So hopefully, and just breathe on it, and warm air sometimes causes these things to accelerate their drying time. There you go, you can see that. So it's the presence of oxygen and moisture which accelerates this. You can get accelerator, glue accelerator, and we'll just cut off a length of that there. So what we can then do is we can then do a bit of bendage there. I'm going to just whoop that round there like that, and we'll run it just straight across, because what we're going to then do is glue the other end in, and then we'll make the loops there, not that way but in a perhaps slightly more precise manner. I'm going to try and make that. Now the loops don't need to be absolutely even, but it's kind of helpful if they are. So here we go. Let's get my tweezers a minute. So what we can then do here is try to zero in a bit more. Would it help if you can see that a little bit better? Because I'm looking through the magnifying glass, but over the top of the camera. Just cut that little section off there, and then what we can do is we can jog the old magnifier. So that should be all right there, and we'll just dab a little bit of glue on here. Oh. There we go. Just breathe on it a tad. We use our oh no, we had a bit of spare lead wire there on that. Just hold that in there like that. And hold it gently. Ah, there we go. A minimum of bad language required there. So we'll just let that dry, and we'll just have another crack at the at another one here. Get our piece of lead wire, and I'll just put that in there so you can see that. I'm going to approximate the length required. We may need to cut some off, but there we go. And we'll do the same thing here. There we go. Right, well, I just get the old just breathe on that again, which tends to, as I say, tends to accelerate this just a little bit. So the cover that we use, which would just be a piece of masking tape, we can then paint with just deck tan or some sort of sand colour, and that will take the effect of that sort of light brown canvas of the kind that I think the armed services were very fond of in the 50s, because you used to see it everywhere. Tents used to be manufactured from it. Right, we'll just hold that a minute there. You can see that. That's good that you can, but you can only just see it. But hopefully that'll be all right there. You see that's beginning to... Ah, it's not quite dry yet. Do is just hold that there for a minute. I'm just going to move it off screen and just breathe on it. There we go. So I'm going to let that dry for a second, and then we'll come back to this. And let's put that over there out of the way for a second. I don't need that for a minute, so I'll just put the lid on the old glue for a second, and we can then look and see. Now, I haven't previously measured this, but that's just a little bit too wide. So what we're going to do there is I shall move this back and find a section of table and a rule and a sharp knife. I'll just cut this back a little bit. And we should then get a section of tape that's just the right width. So, well, just, oh yeah, that's not clever, is it? That didn't work how I wanted it to work at all, so we'll just cut that off there. And you can't actually see what I've just done there, so never mind. So I'm just going to pull off a section of tape here. There we go. So the idea here, I'll move our magnifier into position again. The idea here is to drop this over like that. Yeah, and stick yourself to it, obviously, of course. And drop that over there. And then just push that up like that. And then pull that in towards the top. Let's see if we can straighten that up a little bit. And there we have it. So, a pair of scissors for a minute. Where are my scissors gone? Oh, actually, I need the little ones, really. They always disappear when you really need them, don't they? What happened to them? They're in amongst my piles of plastic, but actually we'll use the large scissors then. That's what I think what we have to do. So what we'll then do is, there we go, cut that off there. And then we can just simply super glue that back in. Just there. So just I'm going to try and get that as straight as we can, but not There we go. Don't want it crooked. And there we are. So we now have a loop, and we have the ejection loop for the top handle there, and that's just taken us about 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Let's put that away over there, out of the way. Now we have the same thing to do here, and we can use our poker here to arrive at the correct and consistent diameter for our loops, and that means that anybody who looks down through the window at the top of the fuselage can see these things are there, and they're nice and even in terms of they look approximately the same. It's got a sharp corner on it, although it might have a sharp corner on it in the actual aircraft, and we don't have to get our panties in a bundle about this at all. So again, we'll cut that end off there. Just going to overlap that a little bit, put that bit of tape there, and then we can put our little tiny bit of glue on here. Now, that's rather a lot, wasn't it? I need to dab a little bit of that off. There we go. And then we can drop our loop back on there. That should, I hope, stick all on its own. Right, so we'll just let that one do its thing for now, and then what we can do is, see, that's unstuck itself. There we go. What we can then do is look at this loop under here, and where you've got the seat really available to you, it's pretty blooming straightforward, to be honest, and we can cannibalise a piece that we've already cut off. Kind of makes it somewhat simple, doesn't it? Oh, so we'll just flip them over like that, arrive at a loop-ish thing, and then what we can then do is simply shape that, and we can then apply a small amount of glue there. I'll just drop the lid on that. I got a new one of these, which is one of those sort of self-squeezy arrangements that actually seems to be a lot more convenient to use, to be honest with you. So what we'll then do is we'll get that the right way up. I'll just zero in a little bit more. Sorry, zoom in, zero in. The gas man's going to be shouting at me again, isn't he? Sorry about that. I ought to put it on the swear box, eh? Yuck. Now this is difficult because the wire is very ductile and malleable, and if you can get the bloody thing on, even if it's only on a bit crooked like that, then I would suggest you do so, because once the glue's dried, you can you can bend it around. Okay, so we'll try that one again, shall we? Oh, and drop that a third time. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, see, these are stuck together. So what we'll do is we'll just try and hook it over there like that. There we go. Now we can use the back of the tweezers just to press that into place. Right, and there you have a loop there. So these are really well, pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. I mean, that happens fairly easily, doesn't it? It's not difficult to do, and we're 20 minutes in and we've done, you know, a couple of things there. Now we'll do the last bit of our bit of taping there, and I'll just cut off a section, and then I can just clean the old tweezers off just for a second. What we'll then do is we'll go back to this, and actually before we do that, I'm going to give that a bit of a centralise. There we go. We might as well make it look nice, eh? So what we'll then do, just drop that on there. No. There we go. Oh, that's not quite there, is it? And then we can drag them down like that. Now that's actually stuck on with a bit of tape, which one could do. I haven't needed to super glue it. So there you go. Let's just make a bit of a loop here, shall we? Whoops. You do have to be a little bit careful with these lead wires. They will break if you overdo them. So very, very simply, there you have 2/3 of the ejection loops now handled. It's done, and it's really straightforward. And I think, if anything, this highlights my my little stanza, which I trot out from time to time. If Zin can, you can. And my thinking on this is really, you know, straightforward. Have a go. Do it where it won't go wrong for you. If you can't, if you know, if things can't be seen, you know, do it where it can't be seen to start with, and then get better and do it later on. But I mean, essentially, as I say, we're nearly at the point where I can get this loaded into the fuselage section and get the fuselage sections put together, and then to get the sides sealed up. I've got to put the weight in underneath the undercarriage well, and then we'll be into the wings and detailing the undercarriage well here, because you can see that looks a little bare on its own, and the underwing wells look a bit bare. This bomb bay will be shut. I won't open that, no need. I don't think, not on my model, but there you are. So there's another quick detailing video. I hope that you enjoyed that, and I'm just going to do some good housekeeping now, and we'll zero out and just put the light on the situation there, and I shall say thank you very much until the next time you come along and I'm in this place again, and hope you enjoyed that, and once again thanks to everybody for popping along, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care for now, everyone. Bye bye.